Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Blue Sunday. As you all know, that song means only one thing, that the Carlton Football Club had a victory. As you can see, I had to take you off the screen, Vince. You were playing around with your phone and all I could see was your big ugly thumb. So joining me, as per usual, every Sunday, former president of the Carltonians and life member of the Carlton Football Club. We all know him as Big Vincenzo, but his name is Vincenzo Lochisano. How are you today, Vince?
Since when is it Vincenzo?
Vincenzo.
That's better.
I'm trying to find something here, and it's not happening.
That's all right. I'm well, thank you, Joe. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm not too bad. And how are you going, mate? Are you enjoying the... is it the hot season over there in Bangkok at the moment, or what's going on?
Yes, well, it's officially what they call the wet season. So it rains and it's very humid. But I'm currently not in Bangkok. I am in Pattaya on a tour. And, I hope I'm not too red, but today I spent most of the day out in the bay, having a look around at some islands. And,
I'm sure everyone's very sympathetic.
Well, they should be, because I couldn't drink because I had to come and do this show. So anyway.
Well, I don't know how many of us down here in cold Melbourne are going to be too sympathetic with you. You've probably got 34 degrees or something up there, and
33.
And enjoying the tropical lifestyle of Thailand. But yeah, we're still going through some cold days here towards the tail end of winter. But hopefully, as September comes around, things will improve a bit.
It will. Hey, Vince, you may notice that someone's missing.
Yeah, I don't know where Sebba is. What's happened to Sebba today?
Where are you? We've tried calling him. We've sent out the cavalry.
If anyone can enlighten us, we'd love to know. Otherwise, we'll have to call.
APB out.
We'll have to call we'll have to call Triple O, or I don't know. Not that does anything in the state of Victoria. They won't even turn up.
Anyway, let's get some housekeeping done and then we'll move on. So, as you all know, Blue Sunday is proudly brought to you by the Jumper Punch, who are proudly sponsored by the Sporting Globe Bar and Grill at Northland. If you haven't done yourself, do yourself a favour, as Molly says, get down there. When I was there last March, I had one of the best Palmers I've ever had. Also, proudly brought to you by my company, Retired Working for You Tours. As I have said, we are an internet or social media program. You will find us on Facebook at Blue Sunday and on YouTube at the Jumper. I was going to say the Puncher Jump, the Jumper Punch, where you are all watching us now. So, Vince,
looks like some of our regulars are suggesting that Seb is still celebrating the big win yesterday.
He might have got the quaddie or something. So anyway.
Who knows? Who knows?
Anyway,
now, were you meant to be drinking some?
I can't do it this week. Yeah, I can't do it this week because I've been out all day and I haven't been able to find it. And you've brought me up. I was going to mention this later, but as you know, last week is not our last show, but it's our last show for the season of football. So I was going to suggest that because we'll do the finals as well, won't we, Vince?
If you insist. I don't think the season could come earlier enough. Yeah, you're more than happy to do with finals.
We normally do.
We still take an interest in what's going on in the rest of the competition, but obviously we won't ask our resident expert commentator David Rhys Jones to bother with that, unless he wants to. Unless he wants to.
When Collingwood lose. But Vince, what we do is, I thought we'd invite a couple of viewers on one each week, right? And the first one, I haven't discussed this with Vince, so this is all new to Vince. So next week, I'm going to get Paz on, because Paz is the one who's hassling me about the Sambuca. And I'm going to throw out a challenge out to Paz. We'll do it together on air. So Paz,
he's your number one fan, that's for sure.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's crazy. But anyway,
Joe, he's not as crazy as Enzo Valentino. He said he reckons that
Why
we
not?
can still make the top 4.
Well, apparently we're going to win the next 7 games next week and make it. Vince, you mentioned him before. He's the friend of the show. He's waiting in the backgrounds. David Rhys Jones. G'day, David. How are you?
Yeah, always good after a win, and very happy to. G'day, Vince. Yeah. I think we'd all be pretty happy with what we saw yesterday, and good to see the young blokes get a win. I think that's going to help a lot of those young players and get in there and belt the song out and get an understanding of what it's like to be a winning Carlton. Winning at the Carlton Footy Club and wearing that jumper with pride. So one more to go, and we should be able to get over Essendon this week on Thursday night too. So an important one that we do finish the season off very well.
Well, Vince, let's get to the game. David's mentioned it. Here's the scores. You do your thing.
Here we are. Carlton got off to a red-hot start. 7 goals, 244 to 3-2-20. In fact, I think we had a better lead than that. I think they might have kicked 1 or 2 late ones, but, we really owned that quarter. 4-goal lead at quarter time. Then, of course, we cemented that advantage by kicking another 6 goals, 3 to only 1 goal, 2 in the second. And that blew out the lead to 55 points. Now, in the end, the margin was 54 points. So technically, they outscored us by a point in that second half. But really, the margin, with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, blew out to 74 points. 74 before Port Adelaide got, I think, 3 late ones to claw it back to 54. So really, it was a game where we, if we really had kept going for the full distance, we may have even been able to win by nearly 100. But it felt like a win that was nearly 100 because at times, I'll be honest with you, they looked like witches' hats. They clearly had nothing to play for. And, Ken Hinkley's second last game, and they've travelled over here. They've taken a bit of a trip to Melbourne, and I reckon they've, hardly laid a major tackle all night. But anyway, so in the end, we kicked 2 goals to their 1 goal in the third quarter. Then they kicked 4 goals to 3 in the last quarter. So the end margin was 54 points, 18-10, 118 to Port Adelaide, 9-10, 64. I don't have all of the other statistics in front of me, unfortunately, Joe, but I do know that Harry Mackay kicked 7 goals, and that's probably the only one that really matters when it comes to the goal kicking tally. That was a career equaling best haul of 7 goals for Harry. Now we go to the
stats up there for you, Vince.
Okay.
If you want to read
them.
Well,
there you go. We had far more of the ball, 375 possessions to just over 300 for Port. Far more kicks, far more hand passes, and we were even more efficient with the ball. Can you believe? Contested possessions, we smashed them. Uncontested possessions, we smashed them. Turnovers, bit the same.
We smashed them.
No, it was about the same. Marks, again, we outmarked them predominantly. Hit-outs is the only area that they won in, really, I think.
Vince's internet. Is that your Vin? Can you hear him, David?
Yeah, I got him. Yep. Might be yours this time.
Might be yours.
Go, Vince.
Anyway, tackles, they out-tackled us. They out-tackled us, but when you have a look at how many tackles inside 50, look at that, 16 tackles inside 50 to us. They only tackled 3. 3 times inside 50 for the game. So, their forwards were just non-existent when it came to putting pressure on. The ball just came out of our defence too easily. Scoring shots, there you go. 18-10, which is 28 scoring shots at 64% accuracy. They only had the 19 shots and only went at 53%. So hardly surprising that they got belted by just over 9 goals or just on 9 goals. So really, it was a comprehensive defeat. But look, even though they had nothing to really play for, and Kenningley's second last game, so they know that the coach isn't going to be there next year. There's no real repercussions for the players. I think it was good that our boys had a confidence-boosting win and started to play some really good football. It was one of the most attractive games I reckon I've seen us play this year. In fact, this game, along with the Geelong game, are probably the only two games I'd bother to watch if I had a chance all over again. So anyway, it was a good performance. 9-goal win. Fantastic.
Yeah. Now, it might be my internet, and plus, as I said to David, I had a disaster before where my power lead has broken. So let's hope that I can last. David, take it away. How'd you see the game?
Yeah, look, obviously we started on fire, and Walshy just inserted himself into the game straight away, and that was great to see. I mean, he looked like he was running a lot freer than he has been for a long, long time, to be honest. And so one of the great positives. I mean, a lot of people saying that why play, Sam Walsh? Well, Jesus, if he's right and ready and wants to, then play him. And you don't want to finish your career on 399 goals and look back and say, geez, I should have played those last couple of games at or 299 or 199 or whatever. But you play every game. That's what you're paid for. You get out, and you play when you're right to go. And he was obviously right to go, and really did put a bit of class through that midfield, which I think really give us a huge advantage over Port Adelaide. Look, they've got a lot of players out, so have we. A lot of quality players. And it was never going to be, the match of the round, but you can only beat who you come up against. And I can tell you that the win there will be great for a lot of those young kids. We got kids who, if we had our best 22 available, wouldn't have played. So, but they got a sniff and they got an opportunity. And geez, I'm really wrapped with the way over the last 3 weeks, just our attitude in our pressure we've been able to apply to the opposition, and the way we've been able to fight our games is just been really good. I mean, Port Adelaide kicked 3 or 4, right at their death knock there, and probably lessened the blow. But our blokes put in all day, and they were they were allowed to sort of take the foot off the gas and worry about next Thursday and short turnaround. So why not? But no, very, very happy with the way, that we're going in the fact that what we've got out in the field and what we're producing. And I think, I think every person at that ground seemed pretty happy, and I can't see anyone who would have been disappointed by it.
Which of the youngsters in particular were you impressed with, David?
Oh, look, there's quite a few of them, and they seem to be just doing it. Cooper Lord's one in particular. I think over the last few weeks he's been given some pretty big jobs, and he's been able to contain and some pretty quality footballers that he's been able to really. And even when they're getting possessions, their possessions are not damaging, and I think that's been a real key to the way he's played over the last few weeks. So he's been able to go in and do a job and pick up a bit of the ball himself. I unfortunately got a concussion. I think it was a concussion, and probably won't be playing next week, which is a bit disappointing. But we'll have players to come in and replace him. But I don't think it'll be Mitch McGovern though. But I don't think he'll replace him.
What do you make of that?
That was a great call. Mitch McGovern's one of those players I've been talking about who we got into, when we thought we were in that window, and we got to a preliminary final, but he hasn't earned his money while he's been at the club. He's one of those blokes who now has to really look at things and say, do I want to stay at Carlton and renegotiate, or do I want to take the easy way out and go somewhere else and get a quid, which is what he done this time. So, he could be one of those blokes who just gets around and chases the money and goes to the biggest dollar. But they're not the sort of blokes you want around the club anyway. I'd like to see him stay, but that'd show a fair amount of character because he'd be taking a decent haircut, and I'd have some real big incentives in his contract. So if he did, start to play the way we think he should, then he'd be well worth it. But at those incentives would be what I'd be putting in his contract. I wouldn't be front loading it in any way, shape, or form because he's, as I said, one of those players we got across at that time and thought we're going to make a huge difference, but through injuries and not great form, he hasn't really had much of an impact at all. So I think the club, if they played him in these last 2 games, it triggers a clause which puts it all back in his, gives him a free run. So no, hasn't deserved it. So the club have done the right thing there. But one thing I noticed, he didn't play in the VFL team today. So that shows a bit of lack of character too. I think. You go back and play. Or to go back last week because you realise you've got 2 games to probably his manager ringing him saying go and play in the bloody 2s, get a heap of kicks, and because you need to trigger this clause. So he went back and had a good game in the reserves. Was probably our best player, but why was he doing that? If that's his incentive, then I couldn't see
What's
why
your view, Vince?
Reward him for it.
Vince,
the fact that McGovern didn't play in the VFL today tells me that either A, he's sooked it up, or B, he's been told by the club, we're not going to play you, mate. We don't want to trigger that clause because, to be honest, it's time for you to find somewhere else to play football. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even play next week. So that'll be an interesting watch. But look, I've always said that McGovern's an overpaid player who didn't come across for the right reasons. He was offered way too much money on way too long a contract by our list management people at the time. And it was a poor decision in the end. And it just goes to show you, if you recruit people across based on the wrong motivations, it very rarely works out well for you. So, look, I've always thought he's a bit of a goose. I still do. He's been injured a lot, way too much. He's so unreliable. Occasionally he'll play some good football, and he's got ability, but just nowhere near long enough for enough games.
Well, when he was brought across as a forward, so he was going to be, one of those key forwards.
Well, they played him forward.
Yeah, and they had to. That's what he was recruited for. So, and
they only played him in defence in the last 3 or 4 years. Well, maybe not
to get
4 years, maybe 3 years. Yeah.
And that's that's probably helped a few players who've had to go back. You look at them over the times, and we look at Rory Lobb right now. The Dogs. I mean, some players that it just suits them in the end, and to get them back and play them on a big bloke, especially those bigger blokes who can't make it down forward or on the ball or whatever. So obviously, I think, as I said, I'd like to see him stay because that'd show a fair bit of character, and I'd be, I'd be right behind him if he did stay, and because, as I say, he's going to get a decent haircut in his contract, so that's going to be the number one thing that he will be staying for the right reasons. So it's not going to be easy for him to go to another club now and try and fit in that, but that's the way it goes, and we'll wait and see. But he's one of a list of a few who supposedly are going, and if they don't want to be there, piss off.
I was just going to say he's one of a number of players that we recruited for those same reasons, where we offered them massive money on long-term deals. So he's not the only one who's come across and regarded as overpaid and overrated because they just haven't performed to the level of that we expected of them. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see in the off season what we do with whether we trade them, whether we delist them, whether we keep them on the list and give them a new contract, or what we do. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at Zach Williams out there, and I thought he had a pretty good game on the weekend, but he's another one who's had too few, had a lot of injuries and been off the park, but hasn't been able to produce. He was brought in as a bloke who was going to come into our midfield. So, our recruiting in what we've done hasn't really hasn't worked. I mean, we got McGovern as a forward, Zach Williams as a midfielder, and they've had to fill other roles. Williams, started in the midfield and then couldn't do it there, so went to the back line, struggled a bit there, and now he's down the forward line where he's doing okay, sort of thing, and giving us a bit of spark down there, but it's not what we recruited them for. It's not why we got them, and so when that happens and blokes don't produce, it really just makes it hard on what you got out there.
Have you heard the same rumour that I've heard, Rhys, about Zach Williams and what he's being paid next year?
Yes, and that's correct, but that's back-ended. So, I think it's 1.2, is it?
That's what I heard, 1.2 million.
1.2,
that's just breathtaking.
So last year his contract and it's back-ended, and, he's taking a fair slug of that salary cap next year. But good luck to him. That was how long ago was that done? 5 years ago or whatever. And
I'll tell you one thing: his manager certainly earned his commission.
Oh, look, you can look at it, but you can probably, compared to the other blokes who might have been, they would have had to work all those blokes along. Some of them would have got a lot of money up front, and I might have got the same amount all the way through. So, but I hope he plays like a $1.2 million player, because that's what would be expected from him. But that's a top of the range midfielder money, and that was what he was recruited for.
David, do you blame him or the club? I mean, he never played.
You can't blame the player. No, can you blame Tom DeConning for being offered $1.7 million? It's not his fault. No, it's not his fault. I mean, someone's going to pay it, and that's where the better clubs make the better decisions, and that's where we've fallen down. We've paid too much for blokes. Not worth it, or not coming for the right reasons, or whatever. And that's been some mistakes in recruiting. So that hasn't helped us over the last 4 or 5 years. Where we really did need those blokes to perform at the level of, they're getting A-grade money. You got to play like an A-grader. The pressure's on you to play like an A-grader. You get A-grade money. I remember when I first come over from Carlton, and I didn't realise how, never thought of money in the concept of things, but I was recruited as a so-called, high-paid player, and 1985 was a difficult season. But geez, you got to get out there and earn the respect, not only of of everyone, your supporters, your teammates, your coaches, your bloody everyone. You gotta do it the hard way, and that's by playing good footy. It's not by just sort of pittering along and getting injured here and there and missing games and sucking it up when you don't get recruited, and don't play in a reserves team. That's pretty poor. You just got to do everything you can, but it's all on the field where you got to prove it, and that's where you get your respect, and that's where you earn the respect of your teammates and so forth. I must admit, I was bloody happy when Kernahan, Bradley, and Motley all landed over the next year, because it took a bloody lot of pressure off me. I can tell you that. So the pendulum swung a little bit then.
We see a comment here from Sammy talking about Jack Martin. Now, how do you feel when you see him playing in that Geelong team? They've put a lot of time into his physical condition and making sure that he's physically able to, play at the level that they want him to play. They took their time in playing him for the first time this year, but since he's come into that team, he's never looked back. He looks fantastic. And again today, he looked pretty good over in Sydney. I mean, how does it feel?
He looked great for us when he was fit and going. He looked great for us too, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there often enough.
But he kept getting injured. Yeah,
that's it. That's it. And you can't begrudge the club for got a bloke who's continually being injured. I mean, good luck to Jack Martin. I like the way he plays. I love him as a footballer, but he just doesn't get out there enough. And I mean, we're in a position where we need our good players out on the park all the time. Well, you see a bloke like Walshy coming back on the weekend and adds that bit of class, and it just makes the whole team a lot better. And
whoa, what's happened there?
Sorry.
Bad enough with one of you, let alone two of you.
Joe's put two screens up of himself.
My battery's going to run out soon on the computer.
So that's not good.
So I'm trying to get myself up on my phone so that I can continue directing the show.
Yeah, no worries. Look, I'll continue on, and look, we're going to see, we're going to see Jack, we're going to see Maddie Kennedy playing finals, in a couple of weeks, and everyone's going to sit back and go, "Oh, geez, I wish they were playing for us." Well, they're not. They're not, and there's different reasons why they're not, and it wouldn't have made an ounce of difference, I don't think, if we kept it. Either of those.
I guess the question is, Rhys, at the end of last year, we were the club that delisted Jack Martin, and then Geelong came along and decided to offer him a lifeline, without having to really pay anything for him other than, what they had to pay him to get him in terms of offering him a certain salary. So Geelong was his last lifeline, really, to an AFL career, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. All right. So
what's the difference between what Geelong's doing and what we used to do?
They're on top of the ladder. They're in the top.
No. But I'm talking about his physical. I'm talking about his physical. He's not breaking down with injury at Geelong, whereas he used to break down with injury all the time with us.
Because there's not as much pressure on them to play him, as there is on us. I mean, he's another one who is earning a hell of a lot of money, and wasn't out there. So, and as I said, I love him as a footballer, but I mean, can you rely on him to get through a final series? Can you rely on his body? I mean, I don't know. I hope so. I hope for his sake and for Geelong's sake that he can stand up, because I think he's good. But we wouldn't have been able to. What would we be saying after 10 rounds when he hasn't played a game or whatever? And they could afford to be able to, use their time. He wouldn't be getting paid big money down there. Don't worry about that. So they've got him for nothing. But it's something that they could afford to carry and take a punt on.
Yeah, he's got a real touch of class.
We just can't take a punt on people anymore, because we can't rely on what we've got, and we need to get better at what we've got in there at the same time. So, as I said, I hope he does well. I hope he has a great final series, but I know what will happen when he does, if he does, because there'll be all the Carlton supporters saying, geez, why we get rid of him? Why we get rid of him? When all they've been saying for the last 3 years is get rid of the bloke. He's not out. Yeah, get rid of him. Why we got him for? He's injured all the time. So, it's easy to sit back.
And I think the club did make a statement really at the end of last year with players that were being constantly injured. I mean, Caleb Marchbank was delisted. I think David Cunningham was delisted. Jack Martin was delisted for these all the same reasons, because they just weren't getting out there on the park. And it sounds to me like you're alluding to maybe Jack Martin was being played at times when he wasn't really 100% fit, and maybe that's what caused some more injuries.
No, I wouldn't say that, but there would have definitely been a lot more pressure on fitness people to get him right,
to
get himself right. You know what I mean? Where he would have gone down to Geelong and they would have said, go and sit over there
That's
as
what
long
they
as
did.
you want. If you don't play this year, we don't care. We don't care if you don't get a game this year. Whereas we'd be saying,
they were gambling with some play money, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they and they got the list that can afford to do something like that. And it might pay some huge dividends for him because he could be a real gun in the finals, which if we're in that position, if we had that sort of list and everything and we're able to carry him through, we would have, but we weren't in that position.
All you had to do was look at those, what was it, 4 goals in one quarter there? He kicked down at Gardenia Park a couple of weeks back.
How many games has he played this year, Vince? How many games?
Well, maybe only half a dozen, but what they did is that they said, look, you're no good to us if you're going to get injured. So just get your body 100% right, 110% right. And they told their fitness people to do that. That's what I'm advised. And to just make sure that once he does play and when he does come into the team, that he's cherry ripe and fit and firing. And he played in reserves.
He's still a week to week. He's still a week to week proposition,
absolutely.
though. I mean, he's still a week to week.
What is he, 30, 31?
Yeah, I think he is over 30. But his body is it's not
fragile.
Nothing they're doing down there is miracles. They haven't got magic water or anything down there. His body's week to week, and that's the way he's been playing for probably the last 5 or 6 years.
Mm.
The difference is, Vincent, David, is that we needed him every week, whereas Geelong don't. They can afford to pick and choose the games.
I think that's what Rhys is trying to say.
Yeah.
So,
that's it.
But he's a different role player. It's the same people go, why'd we get rid of Matt Kennedy? Why'd we get rid of Matt Kennedy? Maybe George Hewitt wouldn't have had the season that he had, and we wouldn't have got
no doubt.
We wouldn't have got who's Harry O'Farrell? Is that the guy that injured himself last week? Yeah, we got him with it. So I mean, hindsight's great, but you just got to move on. I mean, Sydney are probably ruining the day they got rid of you, David. Who knows?
Well, they didn't have a choice. I left of my own accord, so that was I had them over the barrel with that one. So that was another time and another story. But I left and went and spoke to one club, and I was actually a free agent before free agency existed. So thanks to my accountant back in the day. But I was able to be released out of a contract and be a free agent. And I know the Swans and the AFL and everyone were filthy at the time. I think they slowed Carlton a
fine or something
like 125,000 or something, which hadn't been heard of, sort of thing, which was ridiculous. But thank Christ, Carlton had the money back in the day. But it was.
No, they got it now.
The worst thing about that $125,000
none of it went to you.
No, it was every time my paper, Rhys Jones, highly paid player. That 125 was added on, he's going to cost Carlton over the next 3 years. And whoever got their money, whoever the reporters were there, they got it bloody near next to the dollar too. So I don't know who they were talking to, but they added the because it's costing Carlton, they added the 125 as well. Well, I had to try and tell the players, well, I'm not getting that much. That's bloody, and you don't like talking about how much money you're getting that, but oh, geez, that put a bit more pressure on me at the time. But as I said, you got to win that and wear that. Yeah, you want to be a high paid player or high paid recruit, and you got to suffer the consequences.
Did any of you watch the Carlton Collingwood women's match?
Yep.
Did you notice that? Well, David, they kept panning to all the players, right? And all the players were there except one. Jack Silvani. Well, all the players went to give their support except one. So I think I'm just reading.
I saw Jack in the crowd actually sitting next to Mitch McGovern yesterday. So that would have been an interesting conversation to eavesdrop in.
Where are you going next year?
Can you get me on too?
Hey, David, someone asked a question now. Yeah. Did you have to pay all the tribunal costs?
The costs, as in what costs?
When you were fined. when you got fined by the tribunal?
I copped a fine. I did cop a $5,000 fine in 1987, and that come after tax too. Was I had to sign the money out of my pay, and so that was and I never got it back. I joked around about it for a while, after the 87 grand final, but no one come forth anyway. There's no rich Carlton supporter giving me a paper bag. But
what sort of bloody president were you, Vince? Not helping the players.
I wasn't a president then. I was
19
years of age, going along to the what they call that bloody hotel back in the city, Rhys. The one we went to that night for the grand final. The night of the grand final. Southern Cross Hotel.
Yeah.
Southern Cross Hotel. I was there. I was 19 years of age. I was watching all the players celebrate, and
they got bulldozed last century.
I know.
It was probably,
you got to remember, this was nearly 40 years ago, Joe. I mean, it's 38 years ago.
It was probably the most subdued, I reckon, premiership celebration by the players that you'd ever have. And that was just through the heat of the day. It was so
hot,
so hot that day, and we were really drained. But the supporters enjoyed themselves, and we made up for it the next day anyway.
The reserves won as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
there was a real dual celebration. So, it was a great night. I was in blue heaven.
I think the reserves have been on they were pissed by the time we'd finished.
Yeah, they had the whole of the seniors game to be able to celebrate before the real celebrations. No, it was an unforgettable night.
Great day.
Hey, getting back to the game, guys. Well, how do you think? Do you think Harry played better that he was the only key forward? Like him and Charlie weren't giving.
I think Harry's been in pretty good form. I think he's been in, and I reckon he probably could have got a couple more. He gets manhandled a lot, because he's such a big bloke. And see that Aaliyah, he'd been in terrific form. He'd been in real good form, and if it hadn't have been for him over the last few weeks, they would have been smashed really, really badly. But he's been in great form. So for Harry to go and really dominate down there, but I think Harry's been in great form. I think his rucking's been pretty good as well. He got that lucky one out of the ruck, but if you don't have a go with it, that was great to see the tap down to his foot and kick through. That was a bloody great goal, that one. So I think I think I've been talking pretty highly of him, and I've been a critic of Harry's over the time. I mean, I'd love to see him have another huge game on Friday night. Kick 6 or 7 again. And just go into a pre-season really full of confidence and come out and really hit 2026 with full gusto. And I think that'll help Charlie as well. I think seeing if Harry does sort of have a big finish to the year and can get through a big pre-season, I think the two of them, that'll help them both.
What do you say to people?
Forward lines, there's always a bit of competition, and that's healthy too. So, one wants to be the big dog, and they both won a Coleman each, so they're level pegging at the moment. And I dare say, one would be a bit, Charlie was 3 or 4 years ago going to be the greatest player of all time, sort of thing for a while there, but hasn't reached those heights yet.
Rhys, what do you say to people, some of them are even in our chat here tonight, saying, where has this Harry been all year? The Harry we saw yesterday. Like, why just yesterday? Where has this been? They were playing witches hats yesterday to some extent. I mean, I was actually a bit worried when he went down with yet another knock to his head early in the game. I thought, don't tell me he's going to go off concussed again.
Yeah.
But
I'm
rapt that he played well. I'm rapt that he kicked 7 goals. But people are asking, where has this been all year?
Yeah, well, I mean, footy is a confidence game too, and as I've said, I just think the whole feel of the team over the last 3 weeks has been completely different. That they've come out, they've had a really aggressive nature about them. That they got young kids out there, and kids will just go. Kids just don't know any difference, sort of thing. So I think there's been a little bit of a release of the brakes on a few players as well. But footy's a confidence game, and you can. And Harry's probably the best example of it because we've seen with his kicking over the years. I mean, he starts missing them, and the little man up there starts talking to him, and it's almost as if he doesn't want to catch a ball after that because then he has to go back and kick it. So it's it affects some players differently to others, but a lot of it's above the shoulders as well. And confidence is an amazing thing. I mean, when you're playing with confidence, that's why I want him to have another big game this week because I think if he finishes the season off really strong, and it's just a matter of clunking his marks. And the good thing was I've just loved the way he's attacked the ball over the last few weeks. And as I said, he's been held onto, he's been grabbed because he's such a big man. He'd be almost impossible to defend at times. So it's really up to him, and he's a confidence player. He's a confidence player, and obviously, he's been playing pretty good footy over the last few weeks.
Tell me something. When we look, sorry, Joe. Go on, Joe.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought the delivery into the forward line was a lot better too.
Yeah, I think so, and that sort of helps. When you haven't got to them to sort of aim at, and even the back of your mind, I don't know what they think, but they must think, we've got the big blokes to kick it in the air. Fair enough, but kick it in the air out in front of them so they can run and jump at it. Don't bloody dong it on their heads. Which is what we're doing time and time again. But there was no movement down there as well, and a bit of credit's got to come to our small forwards too. I think the guys who've been down there have been, and we showed those stats a minute ago with the tackles in the forward line, and that's our small forwards at work, and you got to give credit to those guys, and I think. Evans once again he bobbed up and was able to do a bit there. So he's playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. And
would you give him a contract for next year, Rhys?
Yes, I would. Yep,
Frankie,
I think they
becoming a bit of a cult figure all of a sudden. That boy.
Yeah, no, I think they have, but it's amazing. I mean, we talk about Harry, but we talk about all players.
He looked. Let's be honest. He looked ready for the scrap heap, didn't he?
Yeah. But you have a look at Blake Acres. 6 weeks ago, he wasn't running freely. He just looked tired. He looked beaten up. He looked down and out. And have a look at him running now. Have a look at him playing now. And it helps a lot that we're winning. And the teams where we're playing. I mean, Port Adelaide. As I said, they've got a multitude of injuries. The pretty good players who are out at the moment, so they're blooding a lot of players as we are as well. So, but they probably should have put up a bit better performance than what they did. But you can only beat what's out there. And we had a good game against Freo, a good game against Gold Coast. So, two teams who were in the 8, and we deserved a good win, and we had it. I think we spoke about that last week. It was a win we really need some reward for. And, Essendon, it's going to be great to thump them on Thursday night. I really do hope we thump them and thump them bad because they're Essendon.
Bastards. I don't think there's really much more we can say about the game. I mean, I think next week, David, what we might do is Sebba was talking about going through the players who's contracted, who's not contracted. So what we might do is say who you'd give a contract to and who you'd sort of put on the chopping block or trade. We might even know by then because they might have told a few players by Friday or Saturday. Who knows? Someone like Vantage. Anyway, let's get to the votes.
Oh yeah, I think things will come out pretty quick. I don't think they'll muck around with people.
Can I ask Rhys one more question before we go to the votes?
Yeah, it's just that my battery's going to run out and I won't be able to put anything up. So go for it.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll answer you quick.
Well, then do the votes. Then I'll ask the question after that. Go on.
Okay.
All right, I gave 3 to Harry Mackay. I thought he was sensational and got well rewarded for, as I said, I reckon he could have got another couple. There are a couple of holding decisions that weren't paid his way, but he was terrific. Georgie Hewitt, I think, must be odds on for the John Nichols medal later on this year. I think he's had a great year and just followed up with another good win. And Sam Walsh, I just thought he was so important out there. I thought, coming back into the team, everyone's a little bit nervous, and he showed in the first quarter just what a quality footballer he is, and how much you rely on your good players. Your A-grade players are the ones who make you a good team, and we've missed, and when we have had them, haven't been 100%, and to see him come back and play that sort of footy was terrific. So he gets the 1 vote there.
Go Vince.
Okay, I gave Harry 3 votes for kicking 7 goals. I gave George Hewitt 2 for having 35 possessions and the ball on a string. And I think he laid quite a number of tackles as well. So he's been doing what George Hewitt does all year. And Lockie Cowan I threw in for 1, but you could have raffled it amongst, another 6 or 7 others. I thought Sam Walsh was a fantastic return to form and return to the team. Paddy Cripps was really good all night, or good all afternoon, I should say, as well. There was a number of players that could have raffled that last vote. But Mackay and Hewitt, they were the 2 standouts, I thought.
So I agree with all you guys. Harry Mackay gave him 3 votes. Like David said, I thought he missed a few. Probably got some really, but I think all year he sort of gets crucified, unlike Charlie. Charlie seems to get the free kicks and Harry doesn't. Sam Walsh too, I thought it was a great return. He looked really sort of fit and firing. I read some of his comments after the game, so he's pretty fired up. And Mr. Reliable all year, George Hewitt, as David says, I think he has the John Nichols medal sewn up. And he's sewn it up on our channel, though. We should be sending him a McDonald's stuffed toy or something. So he increased his lead. So there you go. And what we will do, if I do drop out, I'm going to try and get back in on the phone. So I apologise.
Okay.
It's the culprit. The culprit is this cord. It's short. I don't know if you can see. It's shorted out and it's burnt and it's left some of the plastic inside. So I'm going to have to go to a computer repair shop.
First world problems.
Well, that's what we're doing, aren't we? David, you normally give us a Spirit of Carlton award this week. Those 2.
Well, it goes to Cooper Ward, mainly because I don't think he's going to play next week. So I just think his effort over the last few weeks. So this is a culmination of 2.5, 2.75 weeks effort of just really establishing himself as an AFL footballer. I don't think he would have considered himself in a certainty each week. He would have been, So yeah, good on him. I think he's going to get a lot better for that, and look forward to next year, another pre-season under his belt, and that midfield next year, Jagger Smith and a few others coming through it, could be interesting. Could be interesting. Walsh, Cripps, as well in there. So hopefully some good things can happen.
I normally give I've started to give a witch's hat. People may not agree with this one. Oh, Adam Sard yesterday was terrible. He's been a bit ordinary the last few
He's,
weeks.
he's very lucky.
I think he played on Rioli. Rioli didn't.
I was just going to say he's very lucky he was playing on Rioli.
Yeah.
Rioli looked like he was about 20 kilos overweight and couldn't move.
Yeah. I think he'd been up eating a few turtles up north somewhere. Dugongs, are they? Dugongs? No, he did look. The white jumpers don't help him at all.
No.
Definitely don't help him. The white.
No, not if you're fat. No. I know. Vince, what was your question to David?
What I was going to ask you, Rhys, was with Harry. I mean, we saw yesterday how well he played when he was the main key forward up the front there. Do you think he plays a lot better when Charlie's not in the team? And when you think back to when he had his Coleman medal year, that was the last year that Charlie was out with that knee injury for the entire season. So since Charlie came back in, he's tended to become the more dominant target, if you like. And Harry's been sort of shifted up the ground and around the place and played in the ruck occasionally and all that. Do you think he plays a lot better when Charlie's not in the team, or does that make no difference at all?
Well, they don't play together enough. That's the problem. I mean, there's always one of them out or both of them out or you know.
But even say over the last 3 years, I mean,
yeah, but
this year they hardly played together.
How many times they played together though? That's really been the the key. And playing in the forward line, you need some continuity, and we just haven't had it for a long time. But you got to play them both. You got to play them both. They're both dangerous players. They do. One thing I will say, and this is something that I think the selectors and the coaches have got to look at is we do become very predictable when both of them are playing, and that's just our delivery into the forward line. We just bomb it in there and hope for the best because we've got the two big blokes sort of thing. It's predictable. It's easy to coach against. So and they just get it back. But if we can get the ball through our midfield quick, which we done a couple of years ago, and get it down to both of them. Geez, Backman, wouldn't like being part of that. Get the ball down quick to those in one-on-one situations. Both of them, they're being paid, the big money, and we're still really to get the fruits of it all together, but I think it's not far around the corner, and I want to see them playing more together out there, and we're going to, as long as we can fill the other four spots on that forward line with dangerous players, and that's where Evans has become dangerous. Moya is looking very dangerous at times. We're starting to look. Fogarty's starting to get a little bit of it. Motlop's looking he looked dangerous on the weekend. He didn't sort of do too much, but he looked dangerous. And that's half the battle. I mean, we just haven't had anyone bar our two, either Harry or Charlie, who's really looked as a dangerous forward. And the other one, Zach Williams, he gives something different down there. I mean, I'd like to see Chera coming off a half-forward flank because he's a smart footballer and he could impact down there. So, and that could be the case next year if, we've got Cooper Lord and we've got Jagger Smith and we've got Cripper and Sam Walsh and that. Don't Chera back on a back flank. I'd play him in that forward line and see what he can do down there.
One more question. The game plan that we had yesterday, free-flowing football, overlap, hand passing, we haven't seen that all year. Is this part of Michael Voss's new game plan, or, where's this come from all of a sudden?
I think it's because of the number of younger players we've got and the necessity to, it's been a real attacking and just handball after handball until we get free. And I think that's been the real key to it. It's been... it's been just give it when you're hot, instead of trying to, get through or whatever. But that necessitates run, because you've got to be running to be the next one. But you've got to know that it's going to come too. So, I just think that they've had a new lease of life. I think a lot of it comes down to having younger blokes who are prepared to run a lot harder and a lot further and a lot faster. And it's been an exciting brand of football. So but the pressure we've applied in the opposition's that's been the key to it all. And it doesn't matter who we've been up against over those last couple of weeks. That's really been the point that has made us better, made us a better team.
By the way, Joe, your Witches Hat Award, I thought you were actually going to give it to the entire Port Adelaide football team because they played like Witches Hats yesterday.
Well, they were a close second. It's a blue one. Hey, guys, you might have noticed Rocco stepped in to save the day. I've got 12 minutes left on my battery. So here, I'm going to see my battery is running low. You might want to plug it in. I would like to, but I can't. So Rocco will take over, and I'm going to try and get in via the phone to just let. So how are you today, Rock?
I am doing great today. Just a nice, relaxing day. 2 more weeks, and then we can just forget about this rubbish. And
you mean 1 more week, 1 more game?
Well, yeah, one more game, and then we've got a few things going on here. But yeah, so I was out, so I kind of missed your early discussion, but I can give you my thoughts on the game and everything if you want. I was there at the game.
By all means.
And I won't be too long. I think we've all said what we had to say. I think we're happy with what we saw. Is it a one-off? Are they going to continue? Who knows? We can only see. Was it because the pressure was off and we were allowed to play a game that we wanted to play? Are we going to do the same thing when the pressure's on? We won't know until we see it. I mean, Port Adelaide really were pathetic. That's one of the worst sides I've seen come out by Port Adelaide. But I don't want to take anything away from what we did. Some of the young kids really stepped up. And I think that, I'm sure you've talked about him, but I think Walsh was a huge difference in that side. He came into the middle there. The run. And did you talk about how many tackles he had for the game?
Not how many he had specifically, but
probably. Yeah. I don't recall him laying 1 tackle because.
And you're absolutely right there. He had 0 tackles. Tackles, right? And when it's time to tackle, you tackle. But mate, we don't need him to tackle. We need him to have that outside run and finish off. And you put Shearer into that side, and all of a sudden you got a couple of people who can deliver. So that was his run and carry was, mate. Anyone that says Walsh isn't a generational player, don't know what they're talking about. That bloke has been off injured. He came back and he hasn't missed a beat, And then all of a sudden the forward line started looking like they were moving a bit more. And our Jumper Punch's very own Frankie Evans. He's the new star, best small forward we've got. He absolutely, since he was hit by May, that bloke there has shown everything. I hope you gave him the spirit of Carlton. He deserves it every week because that bloke has shown in the last 3 weeks what it takes to play in this football club, man. He just, and all of a sudden the other small forwards started hitting the packs a little bit harder. I was pretty happy with what I saw on the weekend. Let's hope that something's clicked, and you know what I mean. We get a couple of players back there, and it's not all going to come together at once. But if we can start doing that, then I reckon we can win more than we lose.
Well, the one thing about it is, and going off what you're saying there is, we've got some young kids now who've had a taste of AFL footy, and they've shown they're up to it, and that. Yep. In itself is going to be able to, because I don't think these guys weren't getting games early in the season when we were going bloody terribly, and so therefore, geez, we've got him twice again. How are we going there?
Rob, can my computer? Oh, there you go. It's died.
Yeah, I just removed him. Yeah. I don't want to see it.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, but these kids are getting a taste of it, and the coaches are looking at it and saying, "Well, geez, they're up to it. They can run and chase and tackle, and that they'll do the right things." So, I don't think they'll be as scared to play them as what they might have been early in the season. Well, they must have been scared to play them because they kept rotating the same players in and out of the team.
Yeah.
Fantasia doesn't come back this week. McGovern doesn't come in. They just don't become automatic selections, and they've stuck with the kids, and I think that's fantastic. And the more the more depth that we can have around the place of people who can play is going to put a lot of pressure back on the players who are in there. And I think a lot of them might have been coasting along for a while because they knew they weren't going to get dropped, and they just had to not perform at their best, but do what they had to do and get a game each week and not put your body, on the line and for your teammates and so forth. So I think the great thing that's going to come about this is the amount of depth that we'll have next year in the club of guys who've had a taste of it.
Do you think there's a switch? And I know you can't have that switch within a week, like with Voss I'm talking about, and not playing these older kids. Is there some pressure taken off? You're not making finals this year.
Yeah.
You reckon
I was calling it around July, early July. I reckon I was calling for, our season's finished. Let's play some kids. Let's get them in there and give them some games. So it's brave to do that, and you've got to really say, well, we've put our hands up. We can't make it this year, so we're going to play the kids. But probably took them a few weeks longer than I would have liked anyway to actually get out there and do it and make some hard decisions. So I think there's been a heap of pressure on Michael Voss. So basically until you come out and declare his coach next year, that and as soon as that was made, it just sort of does make it a lot easier for him to be able to go and do his job properly and not have those concerns. Your natural instinct would be to say, well, geez, will I play a Will White or Finn Young or do you play these guys, or do I go with what I know? And you're going to go with what you know because you there'll be no surprises, but and keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best with some of them. But it's been great to see these kids come in and get a taste, and hopefully that will spur them on. Pre-season should be massive.
Has to be
for our club this year, and I think we have to put a couple in mothballs. And Cripper looks like he's even Cripper, he's gained a lease of life. I think Tom De Koning is playing some of his best football now because
he was good yesterday.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. And I thought last week was, I think I mentioned last week that he looked like he had a smiley face. He was enjoying his footy, and young blokes out there around you. That's the enthusiasm and the real spark you can get. So,
do you think Tom? Do you think that maybe there's a decision, or maybe it's turned towards Tom staying? Because it's felt like, I don't know, it's felt in recent times that maybe Tom's not going to be going, and on top of that, I was going to say just quickly, part two, did you like him and O'Keefe? Was it O'Keefe or O'Keefe? Did you like that kind of combination instead of maybe the Pitterneck combination?
Oh yeah, O'Keefe looks like he's going to be a likely forward type too, and he could be another foil down there, and he's going to get better. He's going to get more confidence. He gets his hands on the ball. I think there are a couple of times where you thought, oh God, he should have grabbed that, and he will be. He'll be grabbing them soon. So and going back and slotting them through. Once again, that's a confidence thing with big blokes. Big blokes take a bit longer than the smaller blokes to get into it. And Harry Madden was around 25 before he really did make it as a league ruckman, and so that's just the nature of the beast, and sometimes you've got to persist with those young blokes. But he looks a likely type too, and from what I've heard, he's got a bit of nastiness in him too. So that's going to be good to see coming out in the next few years. And but I just think I think we finish off this season well. Give Essendon a thumping on Thursday, and you just set up a good pre-season. You do it smart. You look after our older players and our blokes who have been banged up. Get them into surgery as quickly as possible if they need it. And get the list together. Get it. If we do lose, and what I was going to say about the guys who could be going. I'd be saying. I think it was Lance Franklin. I read something he said during the week. If players haven't signed by now, they're gone, because that's why wouldn't they have signed if they're going to stay? Why wouldn't they have signed by now? So we can say there. Silvani's gone, TDK's gone, and then there'll be a few others we don't mind, but
Does that mean
I don't want to be there?
Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira is going to be leaving St Kilda as well?
Exactly. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone from St Kilda. St Kilda have, got no hope.
Does he want to go back, or has he got a chance of coming to a Victorian club?
No, he's going home.
But, see,
I don't know. Money speaks all languages, though. I mean,
true.
Who can afford him? But he'd know exactly what he's doing by now. His manager would have had all the talks, so they'd know exactly what they're doing by now. So and TDK would be the same. Jack Silvani maybe doesn't know where he's going, but he's going because his contract's on the table. He's got a 4-year contract table by the Carlton Footy Club, and he hasn't signed it. And so, yeah.
You know what? It doesn't matter. I love the Silvani name. You know what? Yeah. Just because he's a third generation, it doesn't matter. I mean, I was speaking to an Essendon supporter, Mark, from the other show, and he said something perfectly. Danaher left Essendon. You know what I mean? And he's what is he, a fifth or sixth? There was about 6 of them, wasn't there? And he's gone over
4
the
brothers.
bridge, 4 brothers, and he's
the son of one of them.
Yeah, I realise that, but it's like it doesn't matter. Like if he leaves, he leaves, and we just move on to the next person. And we got some big, like if Silvani and McGovern won't be there next year, I don't think, and then of course O'Farrell went down, so there's a spot there that we need to fill. We need to fill definitely. We have to get someone to fill that spot there, and then you got Newman coming back, so there's going to be a decision about Saad. Saad just looks, I don't know if he needs to just be rejuvenated or what's going on with him.
I think he's lost that yard of pace. And you never get it. You never get it back. He's not going to be quicker next year, is he? You only get slower as you get older. You don't get quicker. So he's lost a little bit. So
Rhys, there's been a question by at least one, if not more, of our people in the chat. But also, I'm interested to know your thoughts as well. In recent weeks, we've seen the emergence of a forward who was under our noses for a good couple of years. In fact, he was even one of the co-captains of our VFL team, and he was picked up by Essendon in the mid-season draft. His name's Liam McMahon. Number 48 he's wearing for Essendon. He's been incredible since they gave him a go, and I think they blooded him about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he hasn't missed a beat. He's kicking multiple goals. What have you made of his performance? Have you seen him play?
Yeah, no, I have. I think he's 48, isn't he, or something? Yeah, there it is. But
number 48.
Good luck to the kid. Good luck to the kid. Is he going to get in front of Harry or Charlie or whatever?
No,
not
in
front of Harry Lemmy, but
no one expects that.
Or even Moya, as a third, he's not going to get in front of them, is he?
No.
He's a beautiful kick for goal. He just barely misses. I don't think I've seen him miss.
No. He's going to have his opportunities down there, and I mean, put it this way: I'm just going to have a quick look at.
We'll see how he goes on Thursday, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're going to play them.
No. But so who have they got? You've got Nate Cox. You've got Draper's not playing. Harrison Jones. I mean, you look at Essendon. They got an injury list a mile long as well. They got and I don't think he'll get a game in their best team. So.
Well, maybe, but he's at least taken his opportunity so far.
Well, that's all you can do. But, I mean, you get down there and you get an opportunity and the ball's kicked you enough times, you 20 times or whatever, or it's 20 times in the area and you get 3 or 4 goals.
But if you were at the club and you had a position of authority there, would you be going to your list management or recruiting team and saying, hey, look at that, this bloke was on our noses for 2 years. Why couldn't we have given him a go?
Well, they did give him a go. They played him.
Not in the seniors. No, they didn't.
No. Sorry, they played him in the reserves every week. I mean,
but they never put him on the AFL list like Essendon have.
Well, they obviously didn't have a spot for him, and obviously didn't think that he would warrant. If put it this way, he wasn't what we needed, was he?
Well, when you're only kicking 8, 9, 10 goals a game, and this bloke's averaging about 3.
Yeah, but
it's not bad.
Yeah, but how would he go if the ball's getting bombed down there like it has been? He's not a big bloke. He's not going to. Look, good luck to the bloke. But do you want to give me put a note in your diary, and in 2 years' time, come back to me and say, do you remember Liam McMahon?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I agree.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Right.
And Essendon's had a big injury list, so he's almost been forced to play, because they're just
everyone playing this week. If we don't beat them by 10 goals, we're
Let's not get.
All right.
It's just
serious. They've
been playing some decent football. At least they've been giving their heart and soul.
They're having a go. They are having a go.
I reckon it's going to be a ripper game next week. I reckon it's going to be like last game, rivals. I think it's going to be a ripper game next week. I don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone thinks, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Okay.
I think Liam McMahon will probably be playing on Lewis Young too, so they could have been playing against each other 4 weeks ago in the reserves, if you know what I mean. So,
well, maybe I don't think he's that tall to warrant a Lewis Young. To be honest, I think he's more of a Nick Haynes type of opponent.
No, listen, he'll never be a Frankie Evans, so they can have him. I love Frankie Evans ever since that knock.
Since he got hit by May, right? But before,
hey, listen, I'm going to have to go, guys. I just looked at the time. I'm going to have to shoot off.
Yeah. No, we'll let you go, Rhys.
All
apart from that, Joe would normally put up predictions and all that for next week. Now, I believe you've chosen Carlton for next week. How much by?
I think I put a 50 points or around about that, 50 odd or something around that.
I've chosen Carlton by 29. You and I have been on the same amount of tips for a week or two. So looks like we're going to finish.
I thought Tanya might have twisted your arm and hey,
no,
I could have got a victory.
no, I'm not going to go for Essendon. But I think we should win. I don't think the margin will be quite as much as you think, but I think it'll be around about the 5-goal mark, 29 points.
Right. No worries. Thanks, guys, and thanks to everyone out there watching or whatever. And
now, quickly, do we put you on the spot? We put you on the spot? Obviously, we'll talk during the week, but we'll see you next Sunday to review the Essendon game, and then we'll ask you whether you want to keep coming on every Sunday to review the finals, even though we're not in it.
All right.
Done.
Too easy. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rhys.
See you, mate.
Go the Blues.
Cheers.
Go. Oh, wait, I got rid of the wrong person.
You left him on. I know who your favourite is.
So it's me and you, Vince, Big Vinjans and Big Rockachel.
Do you know what's happened to Sebba tonight?
I did get a message from him. I did ask what happened because I got in late and I was out. So then when I came in, I jumped on and I went, oh, where is he? And I did see him write a message saying He's got crooks. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So,
well, let's hope he feels a lot better very quickly.
Yeah. No,
we missed you tonight, Sebba. We love having your input.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, we thank all of our regulars for being here as usual. I'm not going to go through them all by name right now.
He just wrote a message. Very crook. He's been like sleeping for the last 4 hours, so he must be coming down with something. I know that Sebba, if he was okay, he'd be on for sure. So he must be coming down with a sore back and a sore head.
I thought he might have come down with a fever, seeing the result that Carlton won by 55 points.
Well, it was a good game. It was a different game for me because bigger Ange gave me a call and he got me into the Club 16 room there, and I got to watch it from the Club 16 room with my son, and we had something to eat and drinks, and so it was a bit different for me. So it was good to see.
Is this one of the club's little social rooms? Is it?
Yeah, one of the social rooms. It must be one of their packages and that. So they get like car park and food and drinks, and they get greeted at the door. All the special little things you get. And Ange got us in there, and it was pretty good. So we watched it from there. So it was a bit different. So I sat back. I was eating. Nice. I was eating. Some food, and I was eating some like pastries and some real posh stuff. And
so, what was there? Caviar and hors d'oeuvres.
There wasn't caviar, but there was some sort of like nicely dressed meats, and there was some nice spring roll.
Doing the football in style, Rocco.
Yeah, it was for once. And then we had the beer was for free, so that was good. The beer was for free, so I was sitting there. Yeah, not sitting with the common man. No, I love sitting with the common man. It was just one of those things. So we just sat back there, and then I didn't realize, but my name went up on the screen, on the big screen, and I'd won $100 voucher from Carlton. They must have picked me out of the 1 million supporters they've got, and my name came up, and I didn't even see it. And I got all these messages saying that congratulations, and I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? So it was all right.
So what do you have to do? Contact the club during the week and claim your prize?
I reckon you do. So I didn't get that. So I got that. So yeah, it was we won. Collingwood lost. It's been a pretty good weekend.
What did you get? $100 worth of general admission tickets to the next game that we're giving them away, or?
No, I think it's $100 for the merch for their shop.
Yes.
Right. I'll go and get myself.
That'll buy you $100 worth of, a top or hoodie or something.
I'll have to put a hoodie and have to put another $100 into it. I'll probably
straight from China. Probably cost the club about all of $2 to buy.
Yeah. I've still got my $50 from that I haven't spent from my membership. So
that's all right.
I'm going to go and get it for sure. I'm going to go,
mate. If you want something, make the most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a bit funny, and then we come, and as I said, then $100 merchandise. That's what it was. Yeah.
Now, do you know what's happened to Joe? Or has he just disappeared and taken off for good? Has he?
He told me that his battery went flat, and he's got no way of recharging his.
But he went onto his phone, didn't he?
And then he went on his phone. His phone must have gone dead too. So I got no idea. So
have you got all the screens that go up for our bet of the week and all the rest of it?
So it's just me and you, mate. Just me. Right.
So does that mean we've got our own Vincano introduction, or?
Yeah, I'm going to give you one. But before we do that, we're going to do Carlton will beat Essendon next week by 60 points.
So you agree with Rhys?
Disappointing. Go Blues. I will get full membership for next year after the season is over. Well done, Oz. Thanks for the $10. Oz is a great supporter of the channel.
Yes, thanks, Oz. You don't need to.
He's a star, man. We love Oz, and get onto his channel too. I'm not sure what it is, but he does a wrestling channel. So get onto him and support him. That's expired now. What's expired now? My voucher? I don't think so. Has it? It can't. I hope not.
Well, how can they give you a prize on Saturday afternoon and it's expired by Monday?
No, he might be talking about the $50 for the membership thing, but I'll make a big fucking song and dance about it if they don't give me my $50, mate. Yeah, so that's it. So we'll do all our little things now. So yeah, so did I miss anything? We had a good discussion about the Blues, and we're all happy with them, and we're all gonna we're up and about.
Yeah. Well, do you want me to do my little segment before we finish up?
Yeah, let's do it, man. We do the big. I don't know if I've got it. Let's have a look if I've got it.
I was just going to ask, how come you can't access those things?
No, I haven't got it. Nah, because he puts it through his, and then I haven't got access to it. So I'll have it. So, but I haven't got it.
Look,
but what we can do is we can go. It's time for Volcano. How's that?
Am I supposed to put on the face or something? Am I?
Yeah, that's it. Like that.
Oh, look, it's not the strongest volcano you've ever heard tonight, but I've got to say, when I saw the announcement that the AFL has engaged Snoop Dogg for the halftime entertainment at the cost of $5 million, I just thought, now, I don't really know this guy's music too much, although the little bits and pieces I've heard haven't enthused me, but who am I? I'm a dinosaur. I'm in my mid-50s, and I still follow football like a lot of other people in their mid-50s. I wonder what percentage of people are going to be attracted to this sort of halftime entertainment. I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be some sections of the community who are going to be wrapped in it because they're into rap and they're into all this sort of music. And if you want to call it music, because I don't call it music because it's actually not singing, it's talking. And I don't know how you're going to be able to get people in the stands, bopping away and singing away when there's no actual singing taking place. So it's a really weird choice, if you ask me. Now, last year, I think we had Katy Perry, didn't we? Which, not everyone's cup of tea, but nevertheless, she's still got some pretty decent songs and some pretty big hits, which most people recognise, like Raw and what was the other one?
She was good. I thought last year was
Fire.
really good, man, to tell you the truth. And then the year before,
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
And then we had Robbie Williams not long ago. He was really good.
I thought Robbie Williams was the best act we've had in a long, long time.
He was really good. And
he was excellent. We had Kiss a couple of years ago as well.
Yeah, Kiss, I think, was good.
Yeah, so I know you can't please everyone all the time, and you certainly can't please every generation, but my goodness me. Not only did the choice of artists really puzzle me, but then when I heard that this guy has apparently had his issues, even getting a visa in the past. I think we actually knocked back his visa a long time, maybe a few years ago, on the grounds of some of the lyrics of his songs and some of the drug issue. Might have been something to do with drug issues and stuff like that.
10, 12 years ago. It was a long time ago. Now,
when you think about the AFL and its messaging to everybody, and it's let's not kid ourselves. They couldn't give a damn about all of these issues. It's all virtue signaling. It's all to make themselves look like good corporate citizens. But they keep going on about, how we treat women and gender equality and all of this sort of woke stuff. And yet they're going to bring an artist out who has lyrics in his songs which sometimes are just blatant abuse towards women. And I just find that really bizarre and very puzzling and very hypocritical. I don't know what anyone else thinks out there. I'd love to know your views on this. But
there's a few here.
I mean, will I watch him? Maybe I'll watch him for a bit. If he doesn't really take my fancy within the first song or two, I'll probably walk away and get myself something to eat or drink while he's playing. But hell of a lot of money to pay for someone who was banned from this country because of issues like that. Quite openly takes drugs and bit of a, what is it, a bong smoker or something?
He has weed. But this is my take on this now. First of all,
I'll be interested to know your take on it.
Yeah, well, not everyone's going to agree with music, right? Not everyone's going to agree with Katy Perry. Not everyone's going to agree with Kiss. You talk to a lot of people that saw the Kiss and they go, but what is this fucking dinosaur band coming here and playing, you know? So not everyone's going to agree with Kiss. For me, the entertainment. The AFL, think about this, and it's more about eyes around the world. International artists will get your eyes onto the game. It's not about entertaining the crowd so they can dance. If the crowd's there to watch Snoop, if the crowd's there to watch Katy Perry, they're at the wrong event. They're at the wrong event. It's only there to display it around the world. Snoop Dogg, like him or not, is an international star artist. People, as soon as they hear Snoop Dogg, they will tune in around the world, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about, you know. Am I really? I like some of his stuff. I don't go and put him on the fucking radio when I'm driving around. That's not me. But if he's on, I know some of his songs and he's all right. You know what I mean? But I don't really care about the entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're going to put even Katy Perry. She was all right. Unless you're at the game. When I watch it, if I was saying this the other day, you have like a barbecue or something at home, correct? Right?
Yeah.
And then when they're on, do you really watch it? It's in the background. Oh, yeah, that looks all right. And then you move on and you wait for the first bounce. Like, no one cares. Who are you going to get?
What happens?
I've heard people say you're going to get Jimmy Barnes, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. No one wants to hear Jimmy Barnes again. No one wants to hear these people. You know, like, I don't know. Is Snoop Dogg the correct? I don't know. Maybe not. Is he going to get eyes? Yes. The thing I don't agree on, and you touched on it, was the AFL's stance on drugs and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Now, Snoop Dogg is known as a weed. He smokes. He smokes everywhere. He smokes on his shows. He doesn't care. He smokes continuously.
And that's fair enough.
I guarantee
if he's allowed to do it, let him do it.
When he's here, I guarantee he'll be smoking, right? Of course he is, right? It's all that. So what I don't get is, say, your strong stance on drugs, right? And then you get Snoop Dogg to come in. So that's what I don't get, right? So you're a bit of a hypocrite there, because where is your strong stance on drugs then? Because that's
the point I'm making.
Upfront about his drug taking. I don't care if people do it. It's legal in a lot of places, so it's fine, right? So I've got nothing against it, right? But if you are going to be so strong against it and then you just bring on Snoop Dogg, who's going to be roached before he even gets on stage, well, that's on you. How can I take you serious on anything then, right? So that's where I stand. As far as the entertainment, he's an international star, that bloke.
Yeah.
Everyone, look, you don't listen to his music and you know who he is.
I accept that he's obviously got a following. Yeah. He's obviously got people that like what he does. Yeah. And I haven't got an issue with him if he does what he does and he does it in places where it's allowed to happen. Good luck to him. You know, he is what he is. He doesn't apologize for it and he doesn't make any secret of what he does. But the point I was making is exactly what you said there, that the hypocrisy from the AFL is stifling, isn't it? I mean, they come out with all these messages about drugs and drug use, and you know, we've all got the drug policy, and the other thing about, you know, violence against women, and yet this guy's lyrics in a lot of his songs is quite disrespectful in the, you know, I'd use that word as an absolute minimum towards women and how he treats women in his lyrics anyway. I don't know if he treats women like that in real life. I assume he doesn't, but you know, he certainly sees fit to put lyrics like that in some of his music. So yet again, I just think the AFL, you know, they're all frothing at the mouth because they've got an international star coming across, and all of a sudden, all of those stances that they have on all of these social justice issues, straight out the window. Doesn't matter anymore. But anyway, there we go. Someone mentioned in the chat. Someone in the chat that said to me, unfortunately, Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin can't make it to please me. But anyway,
right, you know. Yeah, here it is. Dean Martin, Sinatra.
Oh, Dave Thomason from Perth. Good day, Dave.
Yeah,
he runs the WA Blues and the
yes, I do.
the Breakfast with the Blues show on Saturday mornings over there in Perth.
I do speak to Dave on Messenger. We chat to each other regularly,
Yeah,
and I have to say, thanks to Dave, he gave us a big shout out for the live show and everything the other week. So yeah,
he did.
So great, and we've been on his show, so great, and I told him next time he's down in Melbourne, we're all going to catch up. So
can you believe that was 3 years ago, Rocco? When you and I,
3 years ago,
our partners, and we all went down to Perth and went on the show. Can't believe it's 3 years ago already.
Interstate trips are always great. You always have a good time getting away. You watch your footy team. You go out for dinner. It's a good little adventure. I think everyone should do it if you don't. So that's it. So with the entertainment, it is what it is. And with the 5 million, I mean, that's nothing. I mean, if you want an international artist, that's what it is. It sounds like it is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But it is what it is. Like, you're not going to get any of those artists for less than that to come down. I mean, good on them. Good on them. Wish they paid me 5 million to go up there and do something. So, well done, you know. So, that's it. Well done, Anything what else?
That's pretty much it, mate.
I haven't got all your bets and all that.
Yeah, I know. I can tell you this much, that last week's bet didn't come off because I backed Sydney to lose by no more than 3 goals and then ended up getting belted this afternoon by Geelong. So we lost that one. So we're going to have another bet for $25. If this will be our last one. So we're in profit. So we're going to end up with a profit at the end of it. But we're going to bet $25 again this week. So if this loses, we end up with $250. But if it wins, we'll end up with about $300. And we're going to back Carlton to beat Essendon by a minimum of 29 points. Sorry, not 29 points, 28 points.
$25. We're going to put more than that, Vince. Come on, it's the last bet.
No.
Come on.
Enough. You want to end up with a profit, don't you, Rocco?
No. You want to end up, I reckon you should put 100 on this. Bang. What do they pay?
You reckon? You reckon I should do that?
What do they pay?
Well, it's basically at the line, so it's paying $1.90. But anyway, that's what I gave Joe, so I'll stick with that. Okay. If you're feeling more confident than that, I'm trying to tell people to be responsible with their gambling. So Joe says go hard or go home, but
it's your last bet too. You might as well use it all.
Well, in the home and away season, we might keep it going through the finals.
Maybe keep it going through the final.
All
right, I reckon you put it all on Collingwood.
The grand final result.
I reckon put it all on Collingwood to go out straight sets.
I tell you what, having Collingwood, the wheels have fallen off there. 5 losses out of the last 6 weeks. My goodness,
it's not good for them. They can't
miss the finals. They can't miss the finals.
No, you can't miss the finals. I mean, everything would have to go completely wrong for them to miss our final. There is a slight chance, but I mean, I think
they could still make top 4, but I think if they've got to rely on other teams losing, like maybe a Hawthorn beats Brisbane or something like that.
Yeah, Hawthorn's got to beat Brisbane for sure, and I think there might be but others would have to win by a massive margin, which I don't think is going to happen if I look at the ladder now. So what's happening?
I think the only teams that can actually miss the 8 at the moment are Fremantle and the Bulldogs, and they play each other next week. So that's effectively the elimination final. The only one technically that can, but I can't see it happening, is Gold Coast. They've got a game in hand, and that game in hand's against Essendon at Gold Coast Stadium. So you would think that they will still make it, but I can't see them making it.
I think they'll make it. I think they've got a massive chance. I don't think they'll beat Melbourne, to tell you the truth.
Who, Collingwood?
Yeah.
No, Melbourne's checked out. Melbourne's no different to Port Adelaide or Carlton.
The last game, man, you're playing against Collingwood. Last game, Collingwood aren't travelling that well, mate.
They've lost their coach.
3 goals for half a footy again. They're not travelling that well. Don't think they're going that well, man.
Well, if they lose to Melbourne, they don't deserve to be in the finals.
They don't deserve it anyway. If you win 2 out of your last fucking 6, 7, and then think you're going to go anywhere, they're done. And everyone check out Forever Rivals on Wednesday, because I'm not letting loose on these absolute bums. They all are a bunch of
I'm
bums.
sure you're not.
Yeah,
actually, Rocco, before we finish up, why don't I'll just leave it to you to go through all the shows coming up and the biggest show of all on the 30th of August. Tell us all about that.
All the shows. You've got your Tuesday, of course, and then Wednesday's Forever Rivals, and then you're going to have the watch along on Thursday night with Bo.
Yep.
So we play Thursday night, and then you're going to have an emergency meeting, and then throughout the after the home and away, emergency meeting is going to continue. So we're going to be chucking out emergency meetings whenever we think we need one. So that's going to be, and there'll be plenty going on in the off season for Carlton. Don't you worry about that. And of course, make sure you get your tickets to, first of all, get your tickets for the Friday night for Remix Mania. I haven't got the graphic here, but if you get it for Remix Mania with Bo on the 29th, and that's going to be the night before the big night of TJB4, get your tickets. The links are below. And you make sure, get there. There's going to be just a night of all wrestling music, plenty of drinking. We're all going to be there. And then the next night, of course, TJP4 Live featuring Scotland, Pierce, and the Fevalinko, you beauty. He'll be there, and we'll all be there. Monday Blues will be up on stage. Roaming food, drinks and bar prices, plenty of entertainment. There's going to be giveaways. There's also going to be silent auction going on. So there's going to be some stuff there you can bid on if you want. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. Oh, yes. So make sure you get tickets. Link is below, or go to trybooking.com, and then you can get your tickets there. They're very cheap, $69. You get all of that. You get the players, unlike all those other shows you see with sticks and all that. You don't have to pay for your photos and that. It's all going to be part of it. You're going to be able to have a drink with them. I spoke to Scotland. I spoke to Piers. They're all hanging around, so it's not like they're going to come on stage and leave. So you'll be able to have a drink with them, have a chat with them, get to ask them a question, get to have a beer with them, get to have a photo. So how good's that? And Unfiltered will be coming back as soon as the footy season's finished. Me and Andy have already been hard at it, trying to get guests and that. So that's going to be a big show happening. I think Vince might be having his own little show at the end of the season. Yeah.
Possibly, yes.
Possibly. We're going to get that going too. So there might be something. We've got some other stuff. So there'll be plenty
That'll
of
be
stuff.
what we're planning there, everyone, is a show that goes through all the other sports. It's a bit like an off-season in terms of football anyway, but a summer sports type show that will discuss all of the other things that are going on, whether it's soccer, EPL, or whether it's cricket, golf, tennis, you name it. But we'll go through that if it happens. I hope it happens.
Vincenzo needs his own show, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Vincenzo will be getting, he has got his own show. It's his show here, but he's looking at maybe doing a Blue Sunday summer edition. So where we talk about all the sports. You get to see Vince come on, and we can just talk about basketball. All those sports that Vince is all over the sports. It's a bit different to me. You watch all sorts of sports. I keep an eye on him, but I'm not a keen follower of all those other sports. Yeah, so he'll be definitely there.
Well, if you're a sports nut, you'll love it because we'll go through some
we'll
get developments and results and stories.
Yeah, so there'll be some stuff definitely going on. The Jumper Punch, it won't end. There'll be heaps of stuff going on, and we're going to continue on bigger and better next year. How did I get the Fevalinko? Great work, a lot of work to get him. So it is a great pickup. So grab your tickets. You don't get to see him too often.
He made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
And it involves a lot of bloody dollar signs. That's what it involves. All right, mate. That's it. And that's it.
Yep.
All right. It's been a good show.
Hope you've enjoyed it, everyone. Sorry about all of the problems. At least it wasn't my fault this week with all of the glitches on the internet and
in
batteries
fact,
going flat and whatever. So it was Joe's turn this week, and we apologise for Sebba, but Sebba wasn't well tonight. So hopefully, next Sunday night at 7:30, we'll have everyone on board with any luck to review our last home and away game of the season against Essendon.
Yeah, 100%. No, everyone will be back. And you fixed
Thanks,
up
Danny
your camera.
Finn. That's a very nice message.
Yeah, 100%. And you fixed up your camera. We were working on it during the week, and we couldn't work it out, but you have worked it out because you've been good tonight. So that's all good. Yeah.
Well, I've got the Wi-Fi back. The only issue now I've got is my memory on my computer.
Oh yeah, we'll get that. But as I said, it hasn't glitched tonight, so we can work all that out. Yeah, as I said, your internet was flawless tonight. Flawless, just like our game. Just like
we take our show seriously. If there's a glitch, we try and get it repaired by the following week.
Of course. So make sure you catch us on Tuesday night. It's going to be I'll let you know. It's going to be very feminine on Tuesday night. So we got two beautiful ladies.
Right?
We got two beautiful ladies coming on, and
Would one of them happen to be your daughter?
I'm not going to say. Maybe one's my daughter. One's maybe one of our favourite Greeks. I don't know. Maybe.
What about Matula? Would she be one of them?
Maybe. Well, I just said one of our favourite Greeks, so it might be Matula and Taylor.
Well, that was immediately the name that came to mind there. But I reckon it's great. And by the way, one thing we haven't mentioned all night is that we've seen the start of the AFLW season. I think maybe it just got mentioned when Joe asked whether I'd watched it or not. It's good to see it back. I actually saw some rule changes that I actually thought were really good. They're forcing the girls to move the ball on, and even if they're going to take possession of the ball, if they don't get rid of it, prior opportunity or no prior opportunity, if they take possession of it or drag it in underneath them, they're going to get hold of the ball every time. I thought it worked really well. And even if the umpires are overdoing it a little bit at the moment compared to maybe how much they should, I'd live with that. I reckon it's going to help the game to move faster and keep the ball in motion, because one of the things that's really killed the AFLW in last few seasons is the amount of stoppages, the amount of ball ups, the amount of, almost rugby-like scrums. It's just very unwatchable football. And look, they've still got a long way to go, don't get me wrong. I saw a couple of games on the weekend that I thought, oh, my God. But, there's also some really good teams out there. Melbourne really impressed me. Some of their ball movement is amazing to watch. Even their men's team could probably learn a little bit out of what the girls do. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, our girls had a good win against Collingwood on Thursday night to open up the season. From all reports, it was well attended, 7,000 or 8,000 people at the game. So let's hope that the girls do well this year. I think they've brought on some new players that are going to be a real boost to the team. Girls like Abby McKay's sister, and also
that's funny. Not Andrew McKay's daughter.
Sorry,
did you say Andrew? No, you said
Abby McKay's sister.
Yeah, but you didn't say like you normally go. So yeah, you normally would go Andrew McKay's other daughter. We've quickly forgotten about
anyway.
She's all good.
Yeah.
She's a star. Abby McKay is a star of the game.
Abby McKay is one of the best players going around. Don't kid yourself. And Mimi Hill is another one that looks like she's going to be in for a really big season. So, look, I think the Carlton team, I know it's only against Collingwood and they sort of finished last year, but let's give it 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks to see how they go against some of the better teams. But I reckon they've really improved. And, with a bit of luck, they might make the finals this year.
100%. And we got one more before we go. Lana says she was out for tea, so she missed it, and she's an avid watcher. But I just want to say it again.
Hello, Lana.
Happy birthday to Jo, her mum. That was last week, and she's a star. Do you believe she's 89 years old? It's still freaking out. There's no chance that she's 89 years old. She's
really.
we see her at the thing. She's running around, man. So happy birthday again if you are watching. We know she's also Joe's a big watcher of the show. So
yeah.
No worries. And that's it. Well done.
That's it.
Good job.
Okay.
Make sure 2 things Tuesday, and make sure there is still 100 people in the chat. I expect 100. No, well, I'm sure a lot of you have bought tickets, but I expect another 50 tickets to be sold tonight because they are going fast, and we want this place to be full because the fuller it is, I think it's going to be the more excitement we get in this whole place. So make sure you get your tickets. You get your tickets, and make sure we're all together on that 30th of August. I'll put the promo before we go, so make sure the link is below. Get the live tickets. You're not going to see a show like this anywhere. 3 stars, 2 YouTube shows that do all right. What else do you want, eh? So make sure you get. Hey, we're getting Rocco Moro. He's coming all the way from Perth. Did you know that?
I didn't know. Is that right? Good on you,
He's
Rocco.
coming
All the way
with
from
his
Perth.
daughter and his wife. They're coming. They're also coming to Remix Mania on the Friday, and he put on a thing before. He doesn't even like wrestling, and he's coming to that. And he's coming to the live show. He's coming all the way from Perth. So
that's a great effort.
Yeah. So everyone, get on there. Yeah, and make sure you are also subscribed. All that loving stuff we do. And and we'll see you.
By the way, Rocco, before we just sign off, we've had a few comments here about forget Michael Voss's choice of sub on the ground. We've got our super sub in Rocco come on for Joe.
That was a bit of a super sub. I didn't know. To tell you the truth, he messaged me.
Enzo Valentino agrees.
Yeah, no, Enzo, we love it. What a star Enzo was when he came onto the show, wasn't he?
He was fantastic. If you haven't watched that show, get back onto the old repeats of the Jumper Punch from a couple of weeks ago. Enzo Valentino was excellent.
We're going to get, I'm sure you'll see more of Enzo, but yeah, thanks for that. But I didn't even know, like Joe said, just can you come in the background just in case I lose my battery so you can control the show? Because if he goes, then there's no way of controlling the show.
That's right.
So I said, yeah, no worries. I'll jump in the background. And he put me on instantly. That's why I was shocked when I came on. I didn't know I was going to come on. But I'm like,
that's why.
I'm like bloody Frankie Evans, mate. I just come in, mate, and I impact the game straight away. JP's very own, I'm telling you, mate, the Frankie Evans show. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you next week. Go the Mighty Blues.
Go Blues.